Hey everyone, so we're gonna go through Prisoner of Azkaban, the next Harry Potter. So 3 down, 4 to go. So let's just go ahead and start with the negatives. Obviously, I can't really do non-spoiler for this one because it's the third in a series. If you want non-spoiler thoughts, just go to my first in this series and it has like a little non-spoiler section. So negatives of this one, you know that I'm not a huge fan of time travel, but this one, for some reason, it didn't bother me this read through as much as it has in the past. So I did really enjoy this read through, but there are several things that really bug me, and mostly it's Scabbers. It's gross. I think everyone in the fandom knows it's gross and doesn't like this part of this book. But yes, the Scabbers thing is gross. I'm not really going to talk about it in here because I don't want to go into it. But yes, so that's the first one. Ew. The next one is probably going to get me in trouble, but I seem to get in trouble in every single one of these videos. I think that Snape apologists only watch the movies. I'm sorry, I don't know how you can read this book and the future ones and think Snape is a good person. Snape is a horrible person, and he's so terrible in this book. Like, absolutely terrible. He's, like, vicious to students. Young, like, what is it, 13-year-olds? He's, like, vicious to students. And that's not involving Lupin or Sirius. That's still terrible. I don't condone it. Even if you have a gripe with someone, you shouldn't act like this. But it's the students that, like, gets me. It's horrific how he treats Neville and Hermione and Harry. It's just awful. And I do get the backstory, full story, spoilers for the series. I do get why he goes after Neville, but I don't care. It's horrific how he acts. I hate it so much. So no, I'm never going to be a Snape apologist. I think he's awful. I know he does good things, but I hate him. Like, I just can't handle him in this book. One random thing, I don't know if I should put this in the negative. It's just something that I don't understand, and maybe if you are in this fandom, you can kind of explain it to me. Why would Malfoy's dad talk about Sirius at all to Malfoy? Like, I don't understand why Malfoy is all, like, he knows the story and he, like, is goading Harry to try to find Sirius. That doesn't really make sense to me because Malfoy's dad wouldn't actually know Sirius because Sirius is not actually the traitor. I don't even think he would know Pettigrew. And I don't know if he would know it was actually Pettigrew instead of Sirius. So, like, it just doesn't really make sense to me why he's just, like, assuming Sirius is the bad guy and he's talking to his son about it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but to me that doesn't really make sense. So that's really the only, like, well, I shouldn't say the only plot hole. This one is full of plot convenience with time travel. Time travel's annoying. But that's the only one where I'm like, I don't really get why Malfoy's talking about this. Yeah, I wasn't really that annoyed by the time turner stuff. It's actually shorter than I remembered. I don't know why, but, like, my memory was that this was way longer. The time turner stuff is just like 2 chapters, 1 chapter, and it's not really, I mean, it's a long chapter, but it wasn't really that bad at all. So that's not bad. And there's some really funny stuff. The stuff with Snape and Fudge interacting is hilarious. But yeah, it didn't bother me this read through as much, probably because I was expecting it to bother me and then it just didn't. I have a new least favorite part of this book, and it really surprised me. I was so bothered by Harry's disregard for his own safety in this book. And it happens every book. I get it. But He does not care that a serial killer, what he thinks is a serial killer, is after him specifically. And then he's like, but hanging out in the village is more important than that. It's just so frustrating, and they get so mad at Hermione for trying to keep Harry safe. It's like, that's your best friend trying to keep you safe. Your best friend or second best friend is like sticking up for you and having your back, and you're like getting mad at her for it. So that actually bothered me more than like anything else in this book, even the Snape stuff. So that was like a huge surprise to me. It just bothered me so much. And when Hagrid like tells them off, and when Lupin tells them off, it's like, thank you. Like, this kid is being absolutely freaking annoying. So I'm sure other people will be like, give him a break, he's just a kid. It's just like, yeah, but he's been in dangerous situations before. He should be a little bit more cautious. So that really bothered me. I don't know why it bothered me more this read through than other times. Maybe I'm getting to be a fuddy-duddy. I think I even talked about this last time. Maybe I'm growing old and I'm not as fun anymore. I think that was last time too. But anyway, that was my big gripe for this read through. But there were a lot of positives. I liked it a lot more than I expected to like it, honestly. I thought this was going to be a drag, but maybe I'll like Order of the Phoenix more now. Maybe I just am a more positive person now. I love that Crookshanks from the beginning knows that Scabbers isn't right, and I love that. It also contains my favorite Fred and George moment when they meet each other in Diagon Alley, and Percy is like overly formal, and he's like, oh, so nice to see you again, Harry. And then Fred and George is like, oh, simply corking to see you again, Harry. And then they turn to their mom and they're like, Mom, it's smashing to see you. It's just so much fun. If you have not listened to the audiobook of this section with this joke, the narrator is just so amazing at this part. It's just so funny. Fred and George are the best. So that is definitely my favorite Fred and George moment, and it's in this book, and I forgot that it was in this book. I really liked seeing the sneaker scope and seeing when it went off. It's kind of weird when it goes off and when it doesn't, but it was fun to watch. The Sir Cadogan was really fun, and I was gonna ask, like, does anyone know if Sir Cadogan is a play on Don Quixote? Because when I was reading him this go around, I was like, he's very Don Quixote. Like, I haven't read the full thing, I've only read abridged, and I've only read it in Spanish, don't ask. But like, Sir Cadogan is Don Quixote, isn't he? Like, he just seems like that's who it's after. So maybe I'm wrong. But let me know. Do you know if Rowling like Don Quixote or something? The one thing I did want to mention, and I didn't really know whether to put it in a negative or a positive, Trelawney is really annoying. But if you've watched Super Carlin Brothers, which I think I plug a lot, Super Carlin Brothers they're like fandoms and different theories and stuff. They have a theory about Trelawney, and it's like the only reason that Trelawney was not annoying in this book. So I didn't know whether to put it in negative or positive. She is annoying, but because of the Super Carlin Brothers theory on this, she was actually bearable. And her theory is, like, in a twisted way, she is predicting things correctly. So I'll give you an example for what's a good one? Oh, for Harry's birthday, she predicts that Harry's birthday is in the middle of winter, and it's not, it's in the middle of summer, but he is part of Voldemort's soul in it, so Voldemort was born in the middle of winter. So she was like seeing the Ron soul in Harry's body. So that's like an example of how it's like, if you twist it, she is actually correct. So it was really fun to like listen to her stupid predictions and like predict. So for example, the 13 people at the table thing, the first person to stand is actually the one to die in that. So if you reread that later, that person is the first person to die. Um, I really liked Hagrid in this one. He's very fatherly in this one. His first day going so poorly is just so relatable because I'm a teacher and your first day is always awful. The first day of teaching ever. And it's almost like a dream where like stupid things go horribly wrong. And I like barely remember mine, but I do know it was awful. And so it just like relates to Hagrid's first day teaching so much. So that's kind of special to me. Lupin being an amazing teacher is also very special to me. He's just so amazing as a person and also so amazing as a teacher. And it's just so sad that prejudice is going to keep him from teaching because that's really, I feel like, is really his calling. He wants to go out and adventure, but I think he should just be a teacher. He's so good. I love the unreliable narrator when they meet Lupin. Just different things, like they think he's poor because all of his clothes are ripped. He's not poor, it's just that they get ruined every month. And I love that they think his boggart is an orb because they just came from Transfiguration, but it's the moon, and I just love that, like, unreliable narrator, so it's a little harder to pick out that Lupin's a werewolf, just because of the unreliable narrator. And there's just like a really funny moment with Dumbledore at the end. I don't know if I can find it. Let's see, it's at the end here. Here it is. Fudge, Snape, and Dumbledore came striding into the ward, so this is after Sirius escaped. Dumbledore alone looked calm. Indeed, he looked as though he was quite enjoying himself. Fudge appeared angry, but Snape was beside himself. That's just so hilarious because, of course, he's the only one of the three who's like happy with the events, so he's just like, yeah, this is great, and everyone's like screaming at each other, and he's like, no, it's great. I just love Dumbledore. He's such a fun character. I'm so sad in the movies that they make him so serious because he's hilarious. Dumbledore in the books, all the way through the books, even in the Half-Blood Prince, he has his funny moments. So yeah, it's just sad that they make him all serious when he's so much fun. He's so much fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed this reread. I didn't expect to, because this is not my favorite of the three. I think this is my second to last, actually. But I did really enjoy it. I don't think it's moved, but I just feel like the series moves up every time I reread it as a whole. So I'm hoping that I'll actually enjoy Order of the Phoenix this time. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. I'm definitely going to go through it faster than I did last time. Last time it took me forever to finish it. But I'm on a deadline. Let's go. So, yeah, I'll see you next time for Order of the Phoenix.